moving with the 60 kilometers per hour, you must be in this track. So every track is supposed to have a particular speed limit. You should go within that limit only. Suppose you are moving with 80 kilometers per hour and you want to change it to 120 kilometers per hour. Change your track, go to higher track. That is the meaning of the track. As long as your car, as your vehicle is in the particular track, you have to maintain speed demanded by the track. That is the meaning of tracks. Exactly duplicate the same sentence in case of Bohr's atomic model. As long as electron is revolving in one fixed circular path, its energy, its distance from the nucleus, its velocity, its angular momentum, and energy all are constants. Right? If it is revolving in first circular path, fixed means first circular path, energy is constant, radius is constant, velocity is constant. Right? It is not going on changing, and energy is also constant, angular momentum is constant. Therefore, this is called fixed path. Second orbit, again, energy is E2, radius is R2, something like this. So he suggested that as long as electrons are revolving around the nucleus, remember, this was the person, he proposed that if electron is revolving, this quantum model is based upon concept of quantization of energy proposed by Mr. Planck. Bohr's postulate may be summarized as electron revolves around the nucleus in fixed concentric circular path. What is the meaning of concentric? Same center. So many circles with same center, circular paths. These paths are known as shells, but people are nowadays calling commonly orbits. Don't get confused, CBSE people. Not orbital, orbits. Shells are orbits. Right? Now they look like this. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus in fixed circular path. Electron will not change its position as long as electron is revolving in a particular path. Its distance from the nucleus, which we call radius of orbit, its velocity, its angular momentum, mvr, and its energy remains constant. These orbits are denoted by some number known as principal quantum number. Right? Now, when you are saying that electrons are revolving in this particular orbit, naturally, they are denoted by something. Each orbit possesses a fixed energy as long as electron revolves in the same orbit. As long as your vehicle is in the same track, you have to maintain the same speed as given by the order of government. As long as electron revolves within the same orbit, remember, its energy, En, n is number of orbits, is constant. These are called stationary orbits. Why we are calling stationary orbits? Stationary orbit means if suppose, for example, you are having electron revolving in the same orbit, sir, you are saying that it is revolving. If it is revolving, it has to have loss of energy. Go back to Rutherford's model. There you said according to concept of electrodynamics, whenever a charged particle is revolving around another oppositely charged particle, the revolving particle should have loss of energy. Why don't you apply that concept here? Yes, that should be the main objection created by a student. Then we can say, sir, whenever electron is revolving around the nucleus, remember that its energy remains constant, right? Why? Because if electron is revolving, let us go to physics. If electron is revolving, there will be a force acting towards center. What is that called? Centripetal force. The centripetal force is acting in this direction. And how to indicate direction of motion? Tangent, right? The tangent is indicating displacement and the force is in this way. Force and displacement are making an angle theta, and this is 90 degrees here. Go to physics. What you people say? W, work is equal to Fs cos theta. Fs cos theta. And what is theta here? Theta is 90. Therefore, F into S cos theta 0, cos 90 is 0. It means work done by the nucleus. Work done by the nucleus over electron revolving in an orbit is 0. If no work has been done, energy will not change. That is the significance of fixed orbit. That is the significance of quantization. Here you have to enjoy the perfect meaning of Mr. Planck's constant quantum theory, that what do you mean by quantization? As long as electron is in the first orbit, energy is E1. Sir, it is revolving, it has to lose energy. No, it is quantized because work done by the nucleus over the electron is equal to 0 because centripetal force is acting towards the center and displacement is perpendicular to it, and constant T is equal to 0. W is equal to Fs cos theta. No work has been done, hence energy remains constant. Now, sir, okay, fine. I understood energy remains constant, velocity constant, angular momentum constant, distance of electron from the nucleus constant. If all these properties are constant, it means to say electron is revolving but behaving as if it is at rest. Electron is revolving, but it is behaving as if it is at rest. Okay, bus is at rest. The place is called bus station. Train is at rest, railway station. Station, stationary orbit. Stationary orbit is that circular path, that fixed circular path in which electron is of course revolving. Electron is not at rest. Electron is revolving but maintaining constant distance from the nucleus, constant velocity, constant angular momentum, constant energy. Hence, because of constancy of all these properties, people call this to be as stationary orbit. Very good. Go ahead, sir. Suppose, for example, you are saying, sir, each orbit is different. Therefore, it is denoted by a number called principal. Take care of spelling. Principal quantum number. Here in this case, we are having principal quantum number. If you say, sir, n1, n is equal, n is principal quantum number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, infinity. No fractional number, no zero value, no negative number. Or some authors say capital letters K, L, M, N, etc. K means first orbit, L means second orbit, M means third orbit, and so on and so forth. That means each orbit is given by a number known as principal quantum number. As long as electron is in the same orbit, it will not have its energy to be changed. Next. Now these orbits are given by like this. This is nucleus. We have first orbit, K shell, second orbit. Usually the method of saying is first orbit, second orbit, third orbit. K shell, K orbit is not a routine type of word. K shell, L shell, M shell, N shell. Shell word is used along with K, L, M, N. Orbit word is used 1, 2, 3, 4. Both are same. Next. Now, if suppose, for example, you are saying as a principal quantum number increases, what happens to energy? Sir, energy is least in case of first orbit. That means electron cannot go further closer to the nucleus. That means we have explained the first drawback of Rutherford's model. How do you explain that? By the idea of stationary orbit. That means as long as electron is revolving around the nucleus, we are saying that they are supposed to have constant amount of energy. If energy is constant, we can say that they are stationary orbits. If you increase the principal quantum number, energy increases. How energy increases? Because as electron goes away from the nucleus, control of the nucleus over the electron decreases. Electrostatic force of attraction by the nucleus over the electron decreases. Therefore, that electron which is available in the last orbit will be under very less control. Therefore, energy will be more. First orbit will have less energy. As you increase the principal quantum number, energy increases. That is E1 less than E2, less than E3, and so on up to infinity. Remember, every atom, every element has atoms with infinite number of orbits. Abrar, number of times you are saying there is a comment, raising hand, right? Even if you raise hand 100 times, I cannot do anything better. There is a chat box, and that if you are having doubt, please write down, right? Otherwise, just listen calm and carefully what is going and subject is moving smoothly. Go ahead. If you have a doubt, welcome 100 times. Every atom has infinite number of orbits, but we don't count them. In my class, say for example, there is a very huge hall. We are having so many benches available. But remember that we are not going to talk about all the available benches. We talk about only those benches which are supposed to be available on the students are available first bench, second bench, third bench. No problem. We are going on repeating. Enjoy the repetition of the slide 1. After half an hour, I think you realized, so hey, no problem. Let us enjoy. Till this point, you are sleeping at that stage. Next. Suppose, for example, you are saying, sir, I want to jump the electron. No problem. Go ahead. If you want to jump the electron, then what to do? Supply energy. If you supply energy, electron goes from lower orbit to higher orbit. What is that called? Excitation. Excitation of electron is endothermic process. Suppose, for example, if you want to have de-excitation of electron, electron is coming back. If electron is coming back, energy has to be released. That means de-excitation of electron. Transition of electron from higher orbit to lower orbit is called de-excitation. It is an exothermic process. Energy is released. Transition of electron from lower orbit to higher orbit is called endothermic process, right? And the amount of energy released or absorbed is change in energy is equal to energy of higher minus energy of lower orbit is equal to NH nu frequency, NH nu or NHC by lambda. See here, if electron is revolving in a particular orbit, if it is absorbing energy, it will jump to higher orbit. If it is absorbing, it will go to higher orbit. Suppose, for example, if it is releasing energy, then it will go to lower orbit. Whenever electron is releasing energy in terms of quantum, it will go to lower orbit, such as this one. See, it will go to lower orbit. Next. Now, people ask the Bohr's concept. Yes, very good. You are systematically explaining the stationary orbits and well, but the question is, where is the electron? You are saying electron is revolving around the nucleus in specific parts, in specific orbits. Where is the electron? For that purpose, if suppose, for example, you are having electrons revolving in orbits, where is the electron? Where is the electron? It means to say that we are having in first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, and so on. If suppose, for example, if electron is revolving, where is it? What is that one? What we can say? How do you proceed for that? He insisted, if you want to find out the position of electron normally, if you want to find out location of electron, nothing will be there. Very simple, sir. What to do? Find out angular momentum. What is angular momentum? MVR. Angular momentum of electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. What is h? Planck's constant, 2 pi a number. So he has given that if you want to locate electron in first orbit, its MVR must be equal to 1 into h by 2 pi. Second orbit, 2 into h by 2 pi. Third orbit, 3 into h by 2 pi, and so on. This means to say the angular momentum of electron is quantized. Now a new word is coming in science. Up to third case, what we have said, sir, we are talking about energy is quantized. Now we are saying angular momentum is also quantized. MVR is equal to N into h by 2 pi. M stands for mass of electron, velocity of electron, radius of orbit, and principal quantum number. It is Planck's constant. What are the merits of atomic model? Bohr's atomic model has beautiful merits that it is supposed to be applicable to explain stability of an atom in terms of stationary orbits. It is also used to explain the existence of line spectrum because 3 to 2, one line, 3 to 1, another line, 4 to 2, one line. Like this, we have so many number of lines available. Hence, it can explain existence of line spectrum also. It explains stability of an atom in terms of stationary orbit. It also explains existence of line spectrum for an atom due to quantization of energy. Even then, we have some limitations. What are the limitations? Atomic model, this Bohr's atomic model is not applicable in case of multi-electron system. Suppose, for example, if we have more than one electron, it is not applicable. For example, if you're having 2 electrons, 3 electrons, 10 electrons, you don't have application of Bohr's atomic model. And it is not applicable to explain. It is applicable to explain line spectrum. But if you study the same line spectrum in application of a strong field, electric or magnetic, we get large number of lines, fine lines. They are called Stark effect and Zeeman effect. Why we are having that one, we can't explain that. It explains stability of the existence of line spectrum for an atom only in case of unielectronic species or species isoelectronic to hydrogen such as helium ion, lithium 2 plus, beryllium 3 plus, and not applicable for multi-electronic species. Write down this, then we'll proceed. Take down that, and if you're having, proceeds. Next, if you are having uni electron system, the electron is revolving around the nucleus in this manner. All right. And then whenever we are talking about this, sir, it is applicable for only one electron system. But if suppose you are having multi-electron system like this, you don't have any applicability, both electrostatic force of attraction and repulsion, right? Here we are having attractive force. Here there is a problem. Along with attractive force between electron and nucleus, we have electrostatic force between force of repulsion between multi-electron system. Because of this reason, it is not possible to have application of Bohr's atomic model. Is applicable only whenever we are talking about uni-electron system. Next. In case of uni-electron system, we are having arrangement of orbitals. Take care of the language, orbitals. 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d. But in case of multi-electron system, you have learned in your lower classes, 1s, 2s, 2p. Go back to your Euler's diagram. There you have said something like this. That is applicable in terms of multi-electron system. Next. For hydrogen atom, this figure I have given like this. And for multi-electron system, yes, energy is given 1s less than 2s less than 2p and so on. It also fails to explain Stark effect and Zeeman effect. What is the meaning of that? Splitting of spectral lines into fine lines under the influence of strong electric field. Same thing in case of magnetic field is called Stark effect and Zeeman effect. This is spectral line. Why we are getting this one? Because of influence of quantization. But why we are getting these lines? We don't have any explanation from Bohr's atomic model. That is the drawback. It can explain why we are getting lines. Sir, we are talking about this because of quantization of energy. But why these lines are coming, it is not possible to understand. Next one, the main serious people say, authors says that it has a drawback that angular momentum is integral multiple of h by 2p. People ask how you got it. He was not able to explain that point. People say drawback. In different books, you might say there is a drawback. But one group of lecturers, so myself and some of the lecturers say this is the geniusness of Bohr. That at that time where mathematically people have not been so much grown, he has done some calculations and he proved that this is correct. And nowadays people are doing according to modern methods. Yes, this statement is correct. At that time, people shouted, sir, what is the reason? How you are getting MVR as M2H by 2 pi? He was unable to explain that. Therefore, people say that Bohr's theory has, this is also has drawback, that it is unable to explain existence. If we are talking about existence of system, no sir, we cannot talk about n into h by 2 pi. And some people have some more drawbacks that suppose, for example, you go for double roll, electron has particle character, but wave character. It cannot be explained by Bohr. Next, he could not explain Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. These 2 points will come in the future classes. You have to count it as now as a drawbacks. Take down that. Go ahead. Is it over? Go ahead. Go ahead. Fine. Fine. Shall I proceed? These are the difficulties available with respect to Bohr's atomic model. Go ahead. Go ahead. And that is the end of Bohr's atomic modeling. All right. Now I am shifting to another section. There we are having applications of Bohr's atomic model. Let us see how to proceed. Let me shift to that section. Are you able to see another slide now? We are having D, applications of Bohr's atomic model. If you're able to see that one. Fine. Wait a minute. Now, if we are discussing applications of Bohr's atomic model, then we are having different type of discussions available. Individual discussions are there, such as we are having radius of orbit. Here all derivations are there. Try to give importance to radius, but conclusions are very important. Conclusions are supposed to be very important. For example, consider electron of mass n and charge E revolving around the nucleus of charge Z into E. What is that? Atomic number and its charge with a tangential linear velocity v. Just now we have seen. Let r be the radius of orbit in which electron is revolving. For example, like this. We are having protons, we are having electrons. This electron is revolving around the nucleus. Electron is attracted by the nucleus, electrostatic force of attraction. And here in this case, we have tangential velocity, right? This force is called as centripetal force. And what is the nature? Electrostatic force of attraction. And this is given also as mv square by r, right? Centripetal force. Physics people say mv square by r. I am saying no, this centripetal force is electrostatic force of attraction. So if it is so, then both of them should be equal. Because of that reason only electron is revolving around the nucleus. Therefore, the electrostatic force of attraction between the moving electron and the nucleus is nothing but centripetal force. Hence, F centripetal force is equal to F electrostatic. What is centripetal force? mv square by r. What is electrostatic force? Go to other force formula. There we have derived force is equal to Q1 Q2 by r square into K, some constant that I am using here. K is constant. And E, charge of electron. Z into E, charge of the system which we are discussing. Which system? I can take hydrogen ion, hydrogen atom, helium ion, lithium ion, beryllium ion, and all those things that can be done. Therefore, if we are having Z square by R square, this is cancelled. We get some expression something like this. In SI units, we know K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This all you have done. In CG system, K is equal to 1. I'll enjoy CG system. So that is equal to R is equal to Z square by mv square, but mvr is equal to n into h by 2 pi. That is v is equal to nh by 2 pi mr. If you simplify all that, then we can get, sir, finally, that formula of radius is equal to all this, cancel that, we get some expression like this. R is equal to n square h square by 4 pi square me square z. I have kept them all separately because this is a constant, this is constant, this is constant. If you add up all these things and divide, then what happens? We get some number. Or if you remove the proportionality, R is proportional to n squared by z. And then conclusions. What are the conclusions? We'll discuss later on. First, go up to this point, then we'll proceed. Go ahead. Go ahead. Derivation is suitable for your IP examination, but in our examination, we have to talk about final conclusions, the green boxes, and then accordingly we have to proceed. N is called principal quantum number, Z is known as atomic number, remaining all are constant properties.
You guys okay? lost it last week. Said Ginny and I had no business going back to Hogwarts. It's too dangerous.
Oh, come on.
She's not alone. Even my parents and their muggles know something bad's happening.
Anyway, Dad stepped in, told us she was being balmy, and it took a few days, but she came round.
This is Hogwarts we're talking about. It's Dumbledore. What could be safer?
There's been a lot of talk recently that Dumbledore's got a bit old.
Rubbish. He's only... What is he?
150.
Is it over?
Give or take a few years.
Fine, go ahead, go ahead.
Sissy, you can't do this. He can't be trusted.
The Dark Lord trusts him.
The Dark Lord's mistaken.
Done. Now, conclusions we can go. These conclusions are individually for 4 marks questions, right? You take care of that carefully. Is it over, everybody? Fine. Now, let us take conclusion. Number 1. R is equal to, if you simplify all these numbers in a CGS system, see here I have taken centimeter, 0.529 into 10 power minus 8. That means I have taken Planck's constant, I have taken 4, 22 by 7 whole square, mass of electron and charge of electron. If you take all of this, 0.529 into 10 power minus 8 n square by z, this is in CGS system. But we know 10 power minus 8 centimeter is called 1 angstrom. Okay. Acha. No, sir, I want to write in SI units. 10 power minus 8 becomes 10 power minus 10 into n square by z. So remember this one, but we never use this expression. What we say, 10 power minus 8 centimeter is called 1 angstrom. Therefore, R is equal to 0.529 into n square by z angstrom. Okay. This you have to remember. This is first conclusion. Now, I have taken second conclusion, sir. Suppose, for example, if I have taken z as constant, what is the meaning of this? For a given value of z, what is the meaning of that? Z is constant. If z is constant, R is directly proportional to n square. Okay. This implies if you increase the principal quantum number, radius also increases. See the graph. R versus n square is equal to this one. Whereas, no, I don't want to take n square, I want to take n. This becomes as parabolic. This is called parabola. R versus n, parabola. R versus n square, this is a straight line passing through the origin. If suppose you have taken this one, slope of this, what is the slope? Y is equal to mx. See the graph. Y, I have taken R. M, I have taken n square, x value, n square. So if I take y-axis, R value, x-axis, n square value, what is left out? 0.529 by z. And what you say in mathematics, y is equal to mx plus c. C is not available here. Y is equal to mx means straight line passing through the origin, and slope is 0.529 by z. And what is that? Atomic number. I can take hydrogen, helium, lithium, and beryllium. Only one electron system. We cannot apply for multi-electron system. For example, if I take R1, see here 1, 2, 3, 4. I am changing principal quantum number, but hydrogen Z is constant. So if I keep Z constant, as you increase the principal quantum number, radius increases because R is directly proportional to n square. Now, if suppose Z is constant, same thing I am enjoying another way. As increase principal quantum number, radius increases. This is conclusion. This is to be kept in mind. See here, R versus n square. Is it straight line? No, sir, I am changing the elements. Element 1, element 2, element 3, atomic number is changed. Then we can say that if I am having the values of Z, Z3 less than Z2 less than Z1, because if R and Z is taken, they are inversely proportional. Then for a given value of N, now this is constant value of Z, this is constant value of N. R is proportional to 1 by Z, inversely proportional. As you increase the atomic number, radius decreases. See here, R versus 1 by Z, straight line pass to the origin. No, sir, R versus Z, not 1 by Z, Z. This is called rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola. See here, I have kept hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. I have kept hydrogen, helium ion. I am changing now atomic number. Principal quantum number is same. Radius of first orbit of hydrogen atom is largest among all the uni electron system. Take down that.
Run along, One-Tail.
I know I ought not to be here. The Dark Lord himself forbade me to speak of this.
If the Dark Lord has forbidden it, you ought not
Each
to
graph
speak. Put it
is
down, Bella. We mustn't
individually
touch
important for
what isn't.
separate question. Take care of that.
Ours. As it so happens, I'm aware of your situation, Narcissa.
You? The Dark Lord told you?
Your sister doubts me. Understandable. Over the years, I've played my part well. So well, I've deceived one of the greatest wizards of all time. Dumbledore is a great wizard. Only a fool would question it.
I don't doubt you, Severus.
You should be honored, Sissy. As should Draco.
He's just a boy.
I can't change the Dark Lord's mind. But it might be possible for me to help Draco.
Severus, swear to it.
Make the unbreakable vow. It's just empty words. He'll give it his best effort when it matters most. He'll just slither back into his hole. Coward.
Take out your wand.
Will you, Severus Snape, watch over Draco Malfoy as he attempts to fulfill the Dark Lord's wishes?
I will.
And will you, to the best of your ability, protect him from harm?
I will.
And if Draco should fail, will you yourself carry out the deed the Dark Lord has ordered Draco to perform?
I will.
We've got fating fancies, nosebleed nougat, and just in time for school, puking pastels. Into the cauldron, Hanson.
Peruvian instant darkness powder.
A real money spin of that one. Handy if you need to make a quick getaway. Hello, ladies. Love potions,
What?
eh? Yeah, they really do work. Then again, the way we hear it, sis, you're doing just fine on your own.
Meaning?
Are you not currently dating Dean Thomas?
It's none of your business.
How much for this?
5 galleons.
How much for me?
5 galleons.
I'm your brother.
10 galleons.
Come on, let's go.
I run.
Hi.
Is it over?
How's Fred and George doing it? Half the alley's closed down.
Fred reckons people need a laugh these days.
I reckon he's right.
Oh no. Everyone got there once from Ollivanders.
Harry? Is it me or do Draco and Mummy look like two people who don't want to be followed?
Is it completed? Is it over? Chat box is open. Is it over? Fine, fine, very good. Okay, right. I got it. Nice. Now that will stop here. This is with respect to radius. This is first application, how to find out radius, what is the value of radius, and what are the relations. Relations are important for both conceptual questions and numerical questions. Next application is, I want to find out velocity, I want to find out energy. That one by one we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you for listening. Bye. Assalamu alaikum.